samuchitam artham iho palabhamahe athanyaapi na bhavata ijjayorur bharbharya samuchitam artham iho palabhamahe athanyaapi na bhavata ijjayoru bharbharya samuchitam artham iho palabhamahe. Would anyone like to recite the verse?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am trying. Athanyapi na bhavat ijjayaro bharo bharaya samuchitam artham iho polabhamahe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Athanayapi no bhavato ijjayoru bhara bharaya samuchitam artham iho palabhamahe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Athanayapi no bhavata ijjaya urubhara bharaya samuchitam artham iha upalabhamahe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Athanayapi na bhavata ijjayuro bhara bharaya samuchitam artham iho palabhamahe. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Synonyms: atha, otherwise; anaya, this; api, even; na, not; bhavata, of your exalted personality; ijjaya, by performance of sacrifice; urubhara bharaya, encumbered by much paraphernalia; samuchitam, required; artham, use; iha, here; upalabhamahe, we can see. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We have engaged in your worship with many things and have offered sacrifices unto you, but we think that there is no need for so many arrangements to please your lordship. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami says that if one is offered varied foods but has no appetite, the offering has no value. In a big sacrificial ceremony, there may be many things accumulated to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if there is no devotion, attachment, or love for the Lord, the arrangement is useless. The Lord is complete in himself and he does not need anything from us. However, if we offer him a little water, a flower, and a tulsi leaf, he will accept them. Bhakti, devotional service, is the main way to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not a question of arranging huge sacrifices. The priests were regretful, thinking that they were not on the path of devotional service and that their sacrifice was not pleasing to the Lord. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam morning discussion. A quick recap on Canto 5, because we are just on third chapter. Third chapter has just started. So, and it's good to always have the a recap of everything what is discussed, because when we were kids, we were, at least I was told, if, I have to learn A to E, so I should learn A first. Next day, I will learn A and B again. So A would be revision and B. Then after that, C, then it would be A, B, C. On that day, I'll be doing A, B, C again. So by the time I'm reaching to E, my A, B, C, D have been multiple times revised and gone in my head. So I find that strategy very good. I saw devotees have been recapping it. And this, I think the whole idea of recap is that we understand and find a link between what we are talking about. So yesterday, His Grace Nandavraj Prabhuji gave a quick recap as well. And between now and then, 24 hours have passed. So maybe let's just refresh our memory quickly. So we are in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam with 3rd chapter. Okay, so far in this canto, we have the canto started with Maharaj Priyavrat. He wanted to become a celibate and he was doing his austerities when his father and grandfather approached him and wanted him to engage in the seva of creating progeny, and which after some hesitation after Lord Brahma gave him sort of confirmation that he won't be fully immersed in material world, he took it, Maharaj Priyavrat took it as a service. We also read that he had, eventually he had 13 sons. 3 sons chose to become renunciate, Paramhansas. 7 sons were given the 7 oceans and islands which Maharaj Priyavrat created while circumambulating the sun, the other direction of the sun. And the next 3 sons will become, from the other wife, will become, had become the Manus of 3rd, 4th, and 5th Manvantars. And he had one a daughter as well, Urjaswati, who got married to Shukracharya, right? So, and after ruling for 1100 million years, Maharaj Priyavrat realized that he has entangled himself too much into material activities. So he then left everything and completely surrendered to his guru, Narad Muni, and followed the spiritual path advised by him. So that was first chapter. And in the second chapter, it was the first son of Maharaj Priyavrat, King Agnidhar, who got married to Purvachitti, who was sent by Lord Brahma to Agnidhar. And after they had 9 sons who King Agnidhar married to the 9 daughters of Meru. And when his wife Purvachitti left Agnidhar due to the separation, he also left his body after some time and went to Pitralok. And his elder son is what we are talking about today, is King Nabhi. Right. So King Nabhi desires a son like Lord Vishnu, and Maharaj Nabhi underwent severe austerities and penances to do that. He performed many sacrifices along with his wife and worshipped Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu became very pleased and he came into the sacrificial arena. He gave darshan to King Nabhi. He personally appeared there in this beautiful 4-handed feature, and the priest who were performing the sacrifice began to offer their prayers after looking at Lord Vishnu. The priest glorified the Lord by mentioning, in 4th, 5th, 6th verse, especially yesterday's verse, where priests are glorifying the Lord by mentioning that, it's very difficult to understand the Lord's name, fame, and qualities. And he is, they even mentions that he is beyond the conception of experimental knowledge, and which Prabhuji very nicely explained yesterday. And but they also mentioned that though he is very difficult to understand by experimental knowledge, he can easily be understood by devotional service, right? And he gets easily satisfied by devotional service. Basically, priests were regretting, and in this verse, it is very clearly in 7th, this text which we read, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport very clearly that priests are regretting, right? That they are not on devotional path. Priests realize their mistake, that only the Lord can be pleased only by devotional service. And very interesting, they thought that they don't have devotional service. So they were regretting, right? That's the verse. And because they are saying in the verse that all these, huge sacrifices, it was not needed, they said, to please you or for you to come here. That was not needed. Let's see what our beloved Srila Prabhupada has written in the purport. So, of course, the first point is that priests are regretting their actions as in the consciousness through which they did their sacrifices. And the second point is, without devotion, all activities are useless. Third point is, devotional service is the only way to satisfy or please the Lord. Okay, so we'll start with the first point, that priests are regretting their actions. Now, let's look at, here where priests are regretting because they had the consciousness that just because they are doing this huge sacrifice, all the paraphernalia is gathered, and in the purport's second, I think in the second verse, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada elaborately mentions how many things are involved in a sacrifice. Oh, they are very proud that they have gathered everything and everything is very good. And that's why the Lord would become pleased. They thought that, and with that consciousness, they were doing the sacrifices. So they didn't knew that Lord will get pleased by devotional service and not by these huge sacrifices. Now, similarly, it looks like not all priests were aware at that time about the importance of devotional service. If we look at Canto 4, this personality, if we remember, Narad Muni and Prachina Bhari, King Prachina Bhari, right? So when Narad Muni became compassionate after looking at Prachina Bhari, that he's involved in so much of fruitive activities, he went to him, narrated the whole allegorical story of Puranjan. And after that story was fully narrated, he explained to him nicely. And what was that Prachinabhari said? Prachinabhari, the king Prachinabhari said in 4th canto, 29th chapter, 56th verse, he said, oh, anyone would like to read the translation and purport?
Yes, Mataji, I can read.
Thank you.
The king replied, My dear Brahmana, whatever you have said I have heard with great attention, and considering all of it, have come to the conclusion that the acharyas, teachers who engaged me in fruitive activity did not know this confidential knowledge. If they were aware of it, why did they not explain it to me? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Actually, the so-called teachers or leaders of material society do not really know the goal of life. They are described in Bhagavad Gita as Mayaya Aparita Gyanaha. They appear to be very learned scholars, but actually the influence of the illusory energy has taken away their knowledge. Real knowledge means searching out Krishna. Vedascha sarve aham eva veddoi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. See, the purport clearly, Srila Prabhupada mentions it. King Prachinabhari says that, oh, it looks like they were not, they engaged me in this fruitive activities. They themselves were not aware of this confidential knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, and Srila Prabhupada had repeatedly written in many purports that the great acharyas and teachers in this material world, they don't know the real knowledge. What is the real knowledge? Okay, so we shouldn't be surprised that the priest didn't knew. Actually, not we, but I was actually a little surprised in the case of Prachina Bhari when we were doing the 4th canto, that how come the priests are engaging him in so many fruitive activities? Why Narad Muni had to come and tell him, right? And that's when I realized the importance of what Srila Prabhupada has given us, this great Vaishnava devotee association. For us, priests are Vaishnavas, right? So we think from that concept that, oh, how come they have not told, and why Narad Muni has to come and tell us? So it's like, oh, why come, how come Nandavraj Prabhuji or Surat Krishna Prabhuji or some senior wouldn't tell me what to do? And, Maharaj, His Holiness Devamrita Swami has to come and tell me what I'm supposed to do, right? But the fact is, because these are Vaishnavas, this is what Srila Prabhupada has given us, the association of devotees who will tell us that we are on wrong path. No, we should be doing this every now and then. They are so much accessible. The knowledge, the real knowledge is so much accessible to us very easily. While at that time, Narad Muni had to come, right? Narad Muni looks like he was the sole preacher, apart from others as well, but very prominent preacher. So he used to go and tell everyone. So yes, so the priests were not aware of this, right? They might have read it in the Vedas. Definitely they would have read it, but that was just acquired knowledge, but it was not realized knowledge. It was not transformative for them. So when the Lord appeared in front of them, it looks like we can understand maybe that's when the acquired knowledge became realized knowledge for them. And they understood that, oh, okay, without devotion, every activity done is useless, as Srila Prabhupada writes, which is our second point. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, Srila Rupa Goswami. Okay, this is from ChatGPT. My kids have made that, so please excuse me for if it looks a bit odd, but they just wanted to help me in making this PowerPoint presentation. The point mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in the purport is that Srila Rupa Goswami says that if one is offered with variety of fruits, right, but he has no fruits or foods, but if he has no appetite, the offering has no value. We don't need, the person is already full. Just imagine, you have eaten prasadam to your heart's content, to your belly's content, and then someone comes with a great deal of all the items which are your favorites, and they keep in front of you and say, Prabhuji, I have made it for you. Mataji, I have made it for you. I can't eat it. I have no appetite for it, right? It is the whole effort of that person is useless who has prepared the offering. Right. Similarly, if our activities don't have devotion toward the Lord, if Krishna is not in the center, if that consciousness is not developed, that always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, if we don't have that consciousness, then all the activities are useless. They are on material platform, right? If we look at if we look at the activities done by a devotee every day, right? Let's take all the activities performed in ISKCON by a devotee, like waking up early in the morning, taking bath early in the morning. Just take out, so you take all the activities, but take out Krishna and Krishna consciousness from that. Right, so a person is taking waking early morning, taking bath, being truthful, being honest, making fresh food every time, eating it within 3 hours, right? Eating food without onion garlic, sattvic food, all these activities, but there's no Krishna and Krishna consciousness. If we take that out from our ISKCON activities, we are just doing the activities in the mode of goodness. Sattva gun. Guna in Sanskrit means rope. And rope are only used for one thing. What can the rope be useful for? What is the use of rope? Can anyone tell me?
Tying things, Mataji. Tying things.
Correct. Tying. Is there any other use? No. Joining, tying, binding. That's all ropes are used for. We are, with those activities, if we take out Lord and his consciousness out of all those activities, we are just binding ourselves. It doesn't matter whether it's a gold rope, as Srila Prabhupada said, whether it's gold rope, silver rope, iron rope, doesn't matter. They all are binding to us, right? The only thing which can liberate us is Shuddha Sattva. It doesn't have the word guna in it. Shuddha Sattva, there is no guna involved. That's where our consciousness is towards the Lord. Hence, we should be very careful what we are doing, in which mode we are doing. Priest understood their mistake. And for them to understand their mistake, Lord himself has to come. We might not be that lucky. So we should be very careful in what consciousness we are performing our activities, whether we are keeping Krishna in center of our activities or not. Otherwise, it would just be like that story, very famous story, right? This wedding, there was a wedding, and after their wedding ceremony, bride and groom along with their family set out to return to their village by boat at night. It's a very famous allegory, I would say, analogy. Exhausted from all the festivities, they were all, they sat in the boat, and then because they all were exhausted, they all fell asleep. And when they woke up in the morning, they were surprised to find themselves still at the riverbank, right? What was the reason? Because the boatman forgot to lift the anchor from the jetty, and he was rowing whole night as well. So all our efforts would be just like that boatman, taking us nowhere, still binding in this material world. Let's not live our life attached to this material world. If it is to please the Lord, then only bhakti can help us, right? Which is, again, now the next point. And to understand how bhakti can help us, let's see how devotional service, pure devotional service, how can it help? Because let's first understand what is pure devotional service. After that, we can see how it will help. But it is pure devotional service. In Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavrtam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttamam. A very famous verse. Every devotee knows, thanks to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When first-class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires. Knowledge obtained by monastic philosophy and fruitive actions, the devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. This is pure devotional service, the definition of pure devotional service. Right? Nandavraj Prabhuji yesterday also mentioned the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Samsiddhim Haritoshanam. Right? Our life should be to just satisfy the Lord. And the devotee here, also it mentions, the devotee must constantly serve the Lord favorably as Krishna wants. Okay, as Krishna, that is pure devotional service. Let's understand it by an example by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. He once mentioned in a class that if you are eating a pepperoni pizza, it's karma. When you are eating a pizza without pepperoni, without hurting any living entities, and a vegetarian pizza, right? Very nicely and cleanly prepared, you are doing karma kand, what is written in the scriptures. And then he mentions that if the same pizza you prepared in sattvic gun, where there's no onion, garlic, it's prepared in a very clean state, and then you offered it and then you eat it, that becomes karma yoga. And when your offering plate doesn't have pizza but has karela or saag, that is bhakti yoga, irrespective of whether you like karela or saag, because Krishna loves it. That is pure devotional service. If I look at myself, I am in karma yoga, I'm still stuck there. Or sometimes even karma kand, who knows? But bhakti is a far journey for me to achieve. But yes, definitely with serious, sincere and consistent approach, Srila Prabhupada has guaranteed, and that we will reach there. Right? So this is pure devotional service, where we do whatever Lord wants us to do. Right? Lord's protecting the life of Prahlad Maharaj was his will. Prahlad Maharaj never prayed for the Lord to come and protect him. Lord Prahlad Maharaj just remembered him. He never said, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, please come and protect me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, please come. No, he never said that. He was just remembering the Lord in all the difficulties. That was the will of the Lord, to protect his life. Vritrasur's life was not protected. That was the will of the Lord. Doesn't waver Vritrasur. He still said, Aham hareta padeka moolam. I don't, whatever you want to do, I am still your servant. I just want to be in association of devotees. Whether you protect me, whether you don't protect me. Whatever your will is there, I'm here. Vritrasur's whole existence was because he was used as an instrument right? For this whole Devasur Sangram. And it was all decided that Indra would be killing Vritrasur. But Vritrasur knew that, and he didn't shy away from his duties. He didn't shy away from not loving Krishna or not worshipping him in any way. Right? This is pure devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in a Shikshashtakam, Yatha Tata Vedadhatu Limpato Mat Prananathastu Sam Mat Prananathastu. That feeling we all should develop. Mantra 18 Upanishad also mentions, the last mantra also mentions, right? That you show me the light, the path. You show me the path, O Lord, to reach to you. I'm just offering my obeisances to you, and you show me the path, how I can reach to you. Kunti Maharani says the same thing. Just please make sure that my consciousness is always flowing towards you, like Ganga flows spontaneously. Whatever you want to do, you can do. So Lord giving devotional service was in a way protecting Prahlad's life. Lord's giving devotional service was in a way taking Vritrasur's life. But none of them ever complained, or none of them ever wanted anything else other than pure devotional service. And that is what attracts the Lord. how pure devotional service helps? Because when a devotee is like that, what happens? Krishna says, it was in yesterday's verse purport as well. Tulsi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite swam atmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. When a devotee has pure devotional service, Sri Krishna, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers him merely a tulsi leaf and palmful of water. The all-powerful Lord, when he came as tortoise incarnation, when the whole Mandarachal Parvat was kept on his back, when the Mandarachal Parvat was churning, the powerful God, the Supreme Personality of God had felt that it's good that it's churning because he's having a bit of itch on his back. The Mandarachal Parvat we are talking about, which all the Devatas, the Asuras tried to pick up. They were unable to pick the whole Mandarachal. That Mandarachal was feeling like a itch removal cream to Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who when the Mandarachal was falling on devotees, he with one single-handedly picked it up and quickly kept on Garuda's back. And with just his eyes, just looking at the demons and devotees who are the Devatas who were died or injured very badly because of Mandarachal falling on them, just by looking at them, he made them quiet. He made them fully refreshed, pure, alive. That Supreme Personality of Godhead says in Shastras that he is sold to the person who offers tulsi and water, little water, with devotion. Very important key, with devotion. He himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate tesham nitya bhyuktanam yoga shemam vahamyaham. Yoga shemam vahamyaham. I will protect what they have and carry what they lack. Lord is himself is telling this. And he has done it. He's not just saying, Lord is not just words and no action. He has shown that. This verse is very famous as the story of Gita Panda's story. We all know about the story. All these stories, I'm not going to elaborate them, but these are some examples for us to remember, remind our mind, which is very, 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 very chanchal. So this is the abhyas, what we are doing every morning when we listen to these Srimad Bhagavatam classes, no matter if the point is repeated, no matter if the speaker is saying the same thing, it is for our mind to remind ourselves, to refresh our memory, which is otherwise very, very, very chanchal. And Krishna says that mind can only be protected by control and practice. So Gita Panda, right? The wife, some says the wife, some says the Gita Panda himself. There are various versions of the story where they were not sure about this verse, that how come Lord himself can come? And they were very poor, but the story did said that both Lord Balaram and Krishna came and provided them all the ingredients, all the offerings, all the food through which they can nourish themselves. Okay. Then we have Alarnath. Just because of pure devotional service of Madhu, the son of the priest, because he was not going away. He was so upset that the Lord is not eating. Lord is not eating the kheer which my mother has told me to offer. My father has said that every morning you have to offer that. I'm going out, but make sure that Lord Alarnath does eat. And Lord Alarnath is the deity which, when the 15 days when Jagannath Puri, the darshan are closed, at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was told by Lord Jagannath to come here. I'm not different in Alarnath, he said. This deity manifested himself in front of the boy, took his hand out and started eating the kheer. The father didn't, he was a bit skeptical when the son said that. No, Lord comes and eats. And the father said, no, he never finishes. I mean, he will not eat. But the son was, no, he does. And when the father sees that hidingly, he does see the Lord. And the kheer was so hot because the father was in very, the height of curiosity was there. So as soon as the kheer was prepared, he just took the bowl. He asked he asked his son to offer it quickly. I want to see whether the Lord will come and eat. And he was hiding there, and he saw Lord's hand coming out, and he just catch hold of his hand, Lord's hand. In between this process, the Lord was surprised, and due to some disturbance of between the catching hold of the hand and Lord being surprised, the kheer, sprinkles of the hot kheer, got on his just his right hand's fingers. And when we went to Jagannath Puri, and the priest would be very happy to show you, because when we went to Jagannath Puri to Lord Alarnath's darshan, we can see there. We can see there. They showed us this hand, right hand. Okay, that's Lord's devotion towards his devotees. Pandrinath, Pandarpur, Lord Vithala. Who can you imagine the mercy of Lord? Can you imagine what he can do with for his devotees? He can go to any length. He has been thrown a brick and has been asked to wait because the devotee was busy serving his parents. He said, please wait, Lord, I'll come. And he doesn't have anything for them, for him to sit. So he just threw a brick, and Pandrinath is still, Vithala is still standing there. Can you imagine how the powerful Lord himself is sold? We need to understand, devotees, I need to understand the gravity of that verse which was used in the purport by Srila Prabhupada yesterday, and also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Advaita Acharya thought about this verse. We need to understand the gravity of this verse. Lord literally sells. All we need to develop is devotion. Madhavendra Puri, Shir Chor Gopinath, another example. Lord becomes a thief. Lord burns his hand. Lord bring all the, everything you you want for you. Lord waits for you. What else do you want? Where will you get such a merciful Lord, right? Devotional service. And why not devotional service? And it's very clearly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also that only through devotional service, like 18th chapter, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvata tato mam tatvato gyatva. Bhagwan mentions that only through devotional service can one understand me. And Srila Prabhupada, we are so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has given us this. We are so fortunate that we are born in this Kali Yuga, where Mahaprabhu came, where Srila Prabhupada came and helped, is ready to help us. At each and every moment, Srila Prabhupada is helping us. Right? Bhagwan himself says, Aham bhakta paradhino, hey asvantatra ivadvija sadhubhir grasta hridayo. Bhaktir Bhakta Janapriya. Sadhubhir Grasta Hidayo. Grasta, we use this word Grasta in Hindi for being, terribly, this is something I can't do anything, helpless. I am Grasta with this disease. Bimari se Grast ho chuka hu main. We use in Hindi. That is, I'm in a helpless situation. I can't come out of it with my own. That's what Bhagwan is saying to Amrish Maharaj, right? Bhagwan is saying, Sadhu bhir grasta. These sadhus have, controlled my heart. I can't do anything. Even if I want, I can't help you, Durvasa. I'm so sorry. I am under. Just imagine, Lord himself says that he's fully under control of his devotees if they exhibit pure devotional service. Srila Prabhupada, in yesterday's thought, what does Srila Prabhupada say? God's another name is Ajita. Means not, and Jita means conquered. Nobody can conquer God. He conquers everyone, but devotee can conquer. Although God is Ajita, he becomes Jita, conquered by his devotee. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Why we have problem in performing this pure devotional service? Why can't we then, when we know all the facts, what is devotional service? What reserves devotional service can, pure devotional service can give you? Why we are unable to perform this pure devotional service, right? And there's, I don't know if you have heard, but there are many times, okay, we'll talk about that later, but Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas have given very practical solution to develop that pure devotional service. Right. First step is to identify where we are at. You know, where we are, karma, karma kand, karma yoga. Where are we in that section? Once we have identified, from there we can see, we can follow the steps which our acharyas have given. Srila Rupa Goswami has given us sadhana bhakti, vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Right? Srila, will someone want to read this? Sorry, when I speak, I just carry on speaking. I forget that I should be
I can read, Sita Mataji.
Yes, please, Mataji.
When transcendental devotional service by which love for Krishna is attained is executed by the senses, it is called sadhana bhakti, or the regulative discharge of devotional service. Such devotion eternally exists within the heart of every living entity. The awakening of this eternal devotion is a potentiality of devotional service in practice.
Jai.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So the process towards pure devotional services, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, which Srila Prabhupada here says, regulative discharge of devotional service. He says the awakening of the eternal this eternal devotion is the potentiality. So if we practice sadhana bhakti sincerely, consistently, seriously, the awakening of our eternal devotion, pure devotional services, definitely going to happen. Now, we being in this material world is our practice ground. Human body is our practice ground. We don't know when we are going. We don't have a guaranteed chance to get this human body again. Because, yeah, we can say that, oh, we have been performing, so maybe, you know, not maybe, I'll get a good birth in a Brahmana family, as mentioned by Lord in Bhagavad Gita, but we still have life to go. We don't know what we are going to do in our future lives, future years. Right? Maya is very powerful. If Krishna himself is saying, Mama Maya Duratyaya, then who are we to underestimate Maya? Right? So, with some fortune, with Agyat Sukruti, or with some pious, prayers, some prayers of the devotees, we have got this human body and we are doing sadhana bhakti. In this birth itself, this human body is our practice ground. If we will not practice now in this human body, how are we going to do anything in Golok? How would we know what to do in Golok? How would we know what to talk, how to talk, when to talk, when to serve, when to eat, what all those things Srila Prabhupada, our acharyas, have given us in sadhana bhakti. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti is given to us. Right? People would say that, you know, Lord Krishna is bhavagrahi. Why devotees are being like robots and performing these rituals every now and then, day and night? You know, this is so much disturbance. There are too much of do's and don'ts, and, you know, this can put off the devotee from worshipping the Lord. But this can be explained by this example. A child, you see in this, a child is trying to be cheeky and showing mud or stone in his hand, showing to his mom. And any toddler's mom would know, or father would know, that the next thing, if you don't stop the child, what is the child going to do? If the mom is not stopping the child, taking the stone out of her hand, what is the child going to do?
Probably put in his mouth.
Correct. Exactly. Everything goes in the mouth. Everything for a child, in a toddler in that age, everything goes in the mouth. He doesn't have the right consciousness what to put in his mouth and what to not put in his mouth or her mouth. Similarly, we don't have the consciousness what to offer to the Lord, what not to offer to the Lord, with what consciousness we are supposed to offer to the Lord. The same child, when he becomes 5, 6, 7, the restrictions reduces because he has developed certain consciousness in eating, certain consciousness in understanding the concepts of life. Similarly, sadhana bhakti for us is where it's necessary for us because we are like the small child. We don't know anything. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do anything. I can. Yesterday there was these questions, right? Sometimes with onion garlic also they offer to the Lord. There was a question, if I'm not wrong. But so what is this? The consciousness is not developed. They don't know what they're doing. That's why they need to be told. They need to be stopped in a very nice way and told them. And that's what Srila Prabhupada has done. Srila Prabhupada has shown us what we are supposed to do, what we are not supposed to do. That's sadhana bhakti. Rupa Goswami has given us. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed all the Goswamis to give it to us. And that's why sadhana bhakti is important, until we come to that consciousness where we are becoming we are still a child. We will still be a child, but with a better consciousness, better understanding of what is going to nourish me and what is not going to nourish me. And that's where it's very important that sadhana bhakti is followed in the beginning. Right? Slowly, by practicing sadhana bhakti, we will attain pure devotional service. Right? We will attain pure devotional service slowly. How this in sadhana bhakti, our attachment to the world is much more higher than attachment to the Lord. But we will reach to the stage by practicing consistently, SSC, right? Seriously, sincerely, and consistently. SSC. If we do that, we will defy this and we will become more attached to the Lord and less attached to the world. Right? Now, for us, okay, sadhana bhakti is a very big term. Let's just quickly, and again, this is a reminder for myself. You all would know what sadhana bhakti is. I have Bhakti Shastri students and all. You all know what sadhana bhakti is. Just to quickly remind what Srila Prabhupada says, what Srila Prabhupada has given us as sadhana bhakti. Would someone like to read the first?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, please.
You must see that they strictly follow the regulative principles, the 4 prohibitions, as well as the devotional practice of arising early, taking morning bath, putting on tilak, attending Mangalarati, chanting japa 16 rounds, and attending Srimad Bhagavatam class. This is the duty of all my initiated disciples, whether they are big or they are small. Later, 19 September 1974, Vrindavan. Hari Bol.
Thank you. Would someone like to read the next line, please?
Hare Krishna. If you simply keep to our standard program, don't try to invent anything, roadshow or yoga village. That means chanting daily 16 rounds, rising early, attending Mangalarati, like that. If this program is strictly maintained amongst all the devotees, they will remain pure. And if preaching is pure, automatically leaders, managers, funds, everything will be given profusely by Krishna without any doubt. Later, 23rd December 1972, Bombay.
Jai. The last one, if someone would like to read.
You must make sure that all of these devotees are following the regulative principles very nicely. Everyone must rise early, take bath, attend Mangalarati, chant at the 16 good rounds, attend class, and follow the 4 regulative principles strictly. If these things are lax, then there is no questions of spiritual life. Letter 16th January 1975, Bombay.
Jai. So we can clearly see Srila Prabhupada has been, there are various, multiple places where Srila Prabhupada has given us what is sadhana bhakti for us, right? Rising early morning, the whole morning program, that's the sadhana bhakti for us. If we do that very sincerely, if we do that very seriously, if we do that very consistently, we are definitely on the right path of pure devotional service. As Srila Prabhupada said, right, in the second snip, that everything will be given to us profusely by Krishna. And here in the second snip, he also mentions that, we don't have to try to invent anything, and we don't have to do this big shows and how the priests are saying, coming back to the verse, how the priests are saying in this verse, that we don't have to do all these huge sacrifices, Krishna. You can easily be pleased by devotional service. We don't have to do this shosha, huge programs, this and that. That reminds me of my Guru Maharaj in Krishna Katha, Krishna Janma Katha. He mentions that the Sakat, Saktasur's Katha, that, the Janma celebrations, the Namkaran and all the, the bathing ceremony. So Yashoda Maya was so busy, she just took Krishna and just put him under the Sakat, under the cart, so that he's lying there. And otherwise, there are times when in a very busy household, a small child, if he's sleeping, things can be put on him, or he can be easily hurt in many ways. So she just put him under the sakat, and then she forgot, and she started running around and busy in all the preparations she's doing. She completely forgot about the Lord. Completely forgot about the Lord. Our Guru Maharaj says to remind Yashoda, Krishna did the Leela of Saktasur. And oh, hello, you are doing all these things. I'm here. Baba, mujhe dekh lo ek baar. Right? All these huge sacrifices and all, if it's without Krishna, it's of no use. Srila Prabhupada says this also. That as long as we follow our morning sadhana, if you are doing huge programs, not everything, but if you're His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj mentions, and I try to remind myself every now and then, he says Janmashtami is huge, and you all do so many efforts to do Janmashtami so nicely and everything. The real test of devotional service is who comes in Mangalarti after Janmashtami. He said, morning programs is a must. Morning program, sincerely following the sadhana, 16 rounds chanting in the morning. That is the strength, that is the nourishment to our devotional service. That's what Srila Prabhupada has given us. Right? Where we would have been, where I would have been if Srila Prabhupada and the devotees would have not come in contact with me. Right? So that's all I had to say today, discuss today. Quickly, I'll wrap it up by this verse had 3 main points. Priests were regretting, and why they were regretting. They were saying that, if we don't have devotional service, everything is useless. And how devotional service only can be pleasing to the Lord. And we saw this, that by the example of different types of ropes, it doesn't matter. First, we saw how the same incident had happened in Prachinabhari as well, where Prachinabhari mentioned, King Prachinabhari mentions that, the acharyas are not aware. So the learning is the acharyas, the modern acharyas, as Srila Prabhupada says, they are not aware of this knowledge, the real knowledge. So we should know, we should not just depend on the acharyas or teachers, so-called teachers of our modern knowledge. We should know what is science, what is science, what is the real knowledge. And the real knowledge is devotional service. We saw how, with the example of that boatman, if we are not doing our activities in devotional service, we are tying ourselves to this material world. Then the final, we saw what is Uttama Bhakti, and where do we stand. We should examine ourselves. Where do we stand in terms of karma, karmakand, karma yoga, bhakti? Where do we stand? And from there, we should make sure that we are following the path of sadhana bhakti, which the Lord has given us, because Lord is the most merciful. No one can beat him in the mercy. Him and his devotees. His devotees can, beat Lord in terms of mercy, but we should always, only if we try to develop pure devotional service and be under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada and devotees, we'll be able to reach that path quickly. Hare Krishna. Okay. I'll just...
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
very
Krishna.
nice.
Oh, I just thought whether is it still on or am I
Yes,
disconnected?
it's on.
Sorry.
We are all thinking how we can appreciate your lecture today. It's so nice with so many points, and also reminding us what to do every day and meaning of the devotional service, pure devotional service and sadhana bhakti. You have given many examples. It's actually yeah, eye-opener for all how to progress. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
That's your humility, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for the very nice class, elaborately explaining the main points of this verse, and particularly the importance of sadhana bhakti and the importance of devotional service to reach our goals. Because in human life, without sadhana, even transcendentalists who are trying to derive the ultimate benefit, ultimate goal, has to go only through sadhana, only through devotional service. And I think Prabhupada has all the time in his different lectures and all the places where he's tried to mention that, whether Jnana Mishra Bhakti or anything, that is not the ultimate goal. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told this, that without pure bhakti, we cannot reach the God. God is absolutely pure, so we have to purify ourselves. And the purification process starts with devotional service. And through devotional service, it's the means and the end at the same time, because it purifies us, and also through devotional service, we approach us near the Lord. And the Lord helps us, and that is the beauty of the devotional service. Unlike the other Gyanis and the Karnis, they try themselves. But while we are trying devotional service, the Lord helps us. And through his devotees, he helps us. So he ensures that we can go back to him. So it is the only way through which we can go back to Godhead. And we can know the Lord also at the same time. Bhakta Mama Vijanati. Only the devotees know the Lord, and that is the way to reach the Lord. Thank you for bringing out this point. Hare Krishna.
Hey, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Nandavanam.
So such a nice unpacking of this verse. Look at so many different angles. That was so amazing. In one of the temple openings, I'm not sure in Srila Prabhupada times or recently, they had invited the South Indian Brahmins to do the installation, and they were chanting so many nice mantras. And so one of the senior Pujari was sitting in the audience, and then the devotees were also chanting very nicely. So he told the devotees end of the program, all these mantras is okay, is more for like show, but the real installation done by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. He was so impressed by the intense chanting and aesthetic chanting. He was very impressed. Just by chanting, the service became complete. So Srila Prabhupada has given this crux or the cream of devotion just by chanting, glorifying the Lord, everything becomes so auspicious. So if you mentioned the Pujari, the priests were not very happy with the performance. They were feeling unfulfilled, but this is the crux that just by glorifying the Lord, everything becomes complete. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you so much for very inspiring class. I have small question, Mataji, regarding the Prahlad Maharaj and Draupadi Mataji. So in the devotional service, when Prahlad Maharaj was thinking always about Lord, and Lord appeared to help Prahlad Maharaj. Where Draupadi, when she was being robbed, she was a devotee and she was in the problem. But when she called up with so much intense thing, and then Lord came. So in these two scenarios, what is exactly like? Do we need to call Lord when it's like, or Lord will come just to these two scenarios? How do you think about this?
Thank you, Prabhuji. This is a very, very nice question. Draupadi called out to Lord to protect her, while Prahlad Maharaj was just remembering the Lord. He didn't call the Lord. Lord still came to protect Prahlad Maharaj. Is that right, Prabhuji? That's how do we take? Should we call the Lord, or should we just remember the Lord?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Yeah,
if I
that's right,
understand the
Mataji.
question.
Thank you.
Correct. Okay. Prahlad Maharaj, or let's say Lord himself, is a very possessive lover. Only me, no one else. If you want me, then only me. Your heart should have the space for just me and myself, and I'll come, no one else. Prahlad Maharaj always just thought about the Lord, about no one else. In this situation, Draupadi was also always thinking about the Lord. But in this particular situation, which you're talking about, Mahabharata mentions that Draupadi went to others for the help first, before going to the Lord. She thought about her 5 husbands, powerful husbands. She thought about Dhritarashtra himself, the king. He might, stop his son by doing such a heinous act. She thought to go to Bhishma Pitama. At least Dhritarashtra would hear, or Duryodhan would hear to Bhishma Pitama. So Mahabharata clearly mentions to Kripacharya, Dronacharya, she was going here, there, everywhere she was going, asking for help. And Lord was ready to help. He was just, as soon as this happened to Draupadi, Lord was eating. It's mentioned that Lord was eating, was with Rukmani Devi, and he was just about to start his bhoga, his eating lunch or dinner, either way. But he stopped in midway because he knew that he has to go, that something wrong is happening to his devotee, and he would have immediately gone if the consciousness of Draupadi would have thought about the Lord, not asked for help, just thought about the Lord first. He would have just jumped. But he thought, okay, fine, if she has faith on others, she can check them first. That is the reason why Lord came later until called to protect Draupadi. Having said that, our Guru Maharaj says that whatever happened to Draupadi was a lesson for us. Whatever happened to all these devotees like Jar Bharat Maharaj, about the example of dear Draupadi in this situation, it is lesson for us. Lord sometimes put his devotees in difficulty for devotees like us to learn that if you are in a difficulty, no one else will be able to help you except the Lord himself. So do not even waste time in going here and there. Just directly approach the Lord. Just directly think about the Lord. And that's what we all should be coming to the platform of pure devotional service, where Srila Prabhupada says that devotee even doesn't ask the Lord to come back to Godhead. Whatever you desire, Lord, you do with me, I'm fine. But, there are different steps. So one of the steps is don't ask for help anyone, just ask for help from the Lord. And then the further higher step is you don't even ask for help. You just think about him consistently, and you just say, whatever you want to do, Lord, it's your wish. You want me alive, I'll be alive. You want me happy, like how in Markine Dharma, Srila Prabhupada writes in that poetry, right? Nachaibo. He says, whatever you make me a puppet of yours and do whatever you want. So that is the ultimate consciousness. But Lord teaches us from his devotees, by putting his devotees, his very, very, very senior devotees into test, cream of devotees into test, in a way to preach us so that we can learn the lesson that we are not supposed to go to anyone else. We should just directly call the Lord, and the Lord, and he and only he can come and help us. Does that make sense, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nice answer. Hare Krishna.
Okay, I think we are past time now. If no one else have any realizations or reflections,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
सिन्धुभ्यो एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
वैष्णववृंद की जय।
जय।
हरे सीता देवी दासी माता जी की जय।
जय।
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
हरि
बोल।
बोल।
ऑल ग्लोरीज assembled devotees, हरे
हरे कृष्णा।
कृष्णा। Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.